welcome to part 4 of how The Sims 4 failed me. And at the moment we're on audience mismatch. If you haven't watched the previous videos, now would be a great time to do this before you get into this one. So, to begin with, I know that I am very far from The Sims' target audience. Hence why we have a whole section of where I realized this, due to many things that they choose to include on their games. Why am I not their target audience? Well, to begin with, I'm too old. That is a very interesting thing to say about a simulation game, because most simulation game tends to be, well, you know, for people of any ages, but not The Sims. No. We are hitting the lowest common denominator, which for them would be preteens, because the game is rated T for teen, but honestly I think most teens are too mature for the game, hence why the Discord, the Sims Discord that I'm in, mostly receives 9-year-old children and 11-year-old children, which honestly has created a bit of an issue with the Discord, because a lot of the old residents are feeling quite uncomfortable talking to complete children. But how do we know that they're kidifying the game? Well, here's an example. My sim will make juice on the rocks. Alcoholic drink, she's a teenager, but alcohol doesn't exist in The Sims 4, like, hence why it's juice. It's juice and you get a sugar rush, which actually gives children all the wrong ideas if you would ever want to use a simulation game as a teaching tool, so please don't. And we're gonna talk to a toilet, then we're gonna fart, barf, and laugh about it, and take a selfie. We could also Simstagram things and other, you know, things that little girls would be interested in, not even teens. Secondly, removal of practically anything negative. Like, at all. Pets cannot die of anything but old age, which makes all diseases kinda pointless. Pregnant Sims cannot die at all. I urge you to try. You can set them on fire, you can leave them hungry. They will feed themselves. If your sim is a vampire, just leave them in the sun. They will kinda complain about it and all of their mood, like all of their needs will hit 0, but they will never die, because pregnant death is bad. Obviously, children cannot die, toddlers cannot die, babies cannot die. No sad moodlet for small dead animals, because why would we be sad about a dead hamster, right? We don't want people to be sad, we want people to be happy. You cannot die from sadness. That's an emotional death that will not happen. But you can't die from hysteria and laughter, because that is funny, right? All the deaths are quite toned down. If you want to feed somebody to a cow plant, you will have to do that 2 times in a row. If you want to get somebody electrocuted, you will have to do that 2 times in a row. Every death state practically has a fail-safe of "are you sure?" You have to force your Sims to die. Third, family tree support is very primitive. This is my 100 baby challenge family tree. It's quite wide. Fathers are already disappearing. The game calls the person, the game calls their family portrait. You now have a family portrait that's halfly non-existent. Hooray for you. At the same time, at the start of the game, didn't even have a family portrait support at all, or family tree support at all. It didn't have toddlers. It was very party geared. I think that they tried to go, okay, we actually have more of an audience that we didn't know existed, hence why we need all of these tools fast. But that means that a lot of these tools are fairly compromised. They just do not work as good as they did in the previous games, and it's all because their primary audience is little teenage, preteen girls, 11-year-old children that would wanted to play out their life as like a little perfect fantasy in, you know, Happy Land, where they go out and party with their friends and get a sugar rush. Because, oh no, we cannot say alcohol, even though we could in The Sims Medieval, but that got us rated 15 plus, and we wouldn't want our game to be 15 plus in some countries now, do we? Before I get to the last point, this is a very personal point, just something that some people might like, but I do not. For me, the game flow is really too slow. This is my game on fast, and this is the fastest that I can achieve without putting all my Sims to bed, and then speed 4 might not kick in. Each day takes around 20 minutes, which is absolutely perfect if you're a YouTuber influencer that will spend their time looking at Sims playing in the streets and going, oh my god, look at this musician, or following the cars in the background because your Sims do not have cars, but there are cars in City Living's background. Figure that out. It's not very good if you actually want to play the game as a game, where you're like, yeah, let me speed up and let me go through different generations and let me grow my children up and let them have children and see the world change. This game isn't meant for that. It's just not meant for that. It's meant for slow play, mostly one generation play. You're not supposed to have many generations. The generational players just got completely screwed. Let's leave it at that. Now, my last point. Many of you will likely disagree, going, how dare you criticize, because this is what I got the first time. I do believe that EA is being a bit schizophrenic, pandering to the progressive group at the same time as pandering to 11-year-old children, because these two groups do not overlap. Most recent thing that got changed is insane trait got changed into erratic. I do not believe that erratic fits the description, but apparently some people self-identified as insane because they have mental health issues, even though insane in reality is more or less an insult. You are not insane, you have a specific mental disorder, and that is perfectly fine. Do not describe yourself as insane, and do not then attack the game for using the word insane and get that changed to erratic when erratic people, this is not how they act. I'm a very nervous, kinda erratic person myself. I will not go to events dressed in my underwear. That is not something that occurs to do for me because I am not insane. There is a difference there. But second point is their transgender update. And hello forums, we already talked about this, I know you hate me. The issue with that was that it was too adult and disrespectful at the same time, and you couldn't opt out of it. So that actually upped the game's rating in some countries to 18 plus. You could not talk about the update negatively at all, because that was considered an attack against a minority group, and it was considered inappropriate in a teen forum. Yes, that is right, you can receive the update, but you cannot talk about it. That's how schizophrenic it is. I am very sorry to anyone who gets insulted by the word schizophrenic. So, this is a sim that I just created. It is a female with a male frame, female voice, female animations, wearing a dress. This is not how a single transgender person has ever looked. Even if you're transitioning male to female, you do not look like that. You start losing muscle mass before you gain boobs. You don't get to be a bodybuilder that looks like Schwarzenegger with breasts. That's not how it goes unless you just implanted breasts upon yourself. It quite demeans the process of transitioning without showing all of its bad points, because obviously The Sims is a happy place. We cannot have bad. We cannot have an uncomfortable point of life now, could we? It really helps to cross-dress more than anything. But then you have these very odd selections of can be impregnated, can impregnate, peace standing up or sitting down, and to me and to nobody else, I'm not speaking this for anyone else, it just seems like such inappropriate things to put on into exact same game where you just cannot use the word alcohol because that will raise your ratings up, or you cannot have gambling or discuss any adult topic. You're advertising this to kids and you're clowning this issue up, and you did this all as a publicity stunt, and I can't get behind that. Well, obviously, I didn't match the children or the progressive side of the audience, so I am just completely not fit for this game. Filters me out, I guess, and I'm very aware of it, but I felt like this segment needed to be made, so thank you for watching.